How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the recap of Season 1 of the Nameless Draft League, where I'm going to go over playoffs and how we got here. So, as you can see, unfortunately this red bar here, we had a dropout after playoffs where Riot, the person who beat me, the captain of I'm Just a Chilla Chunk, he dropped out, so yeah, we lost a player and it means I can't get redemption against them, but oh well, it is what it is. We just, brought in another person. So how did we get to who we have for playoffs, how it works, and the matchups? First, let's go to the matchups. Week 1, where we see here, if we go back. So, we seen that the Kitakami Murderers lost trio. That didn't happen. What happened was there was another team, they dropped out, so this was a forfeit win for Z-Dog, the captain of the Eager Empoleons, and then after that, Kid Academy Murderers came in, and their captain, IG Batscaler, he won every battle since, so 0-3 there, whatever. Then he beats the Pittsburgh Piplups trio. He then beats where is he here? He then beats the Quartz Hill Torteras 4-0. He went on a dominating run. He went 5-0. Then when we come back to week 5, he goes 2-0. That's this close battle. He beat me then 2-0 in week 6. He then beat Heart Home City Heat Trans. Did they have a battle or was that a forfeit win? I can't remember now. But he beat them trio. And then he beat the Amsterdam Annihilators 5-0. He went on a tear through week 2 through week 8. Rightfully giving him the place of number 1 with a differential of 21. That meant he got choice of first opponent. First opponent for he got the choice of who wants to play in playoffs, fight in playoffs. So, but he didn't want to choose, so he just went, everyone else pick, you go ahead. Because what we done was, top 4 teams get to, so top 1 chooses between bottom 4 of playoffs, number 2 chooses between the remaining 3, number 3 chooses between the remaining 2, and whoever came 4th gets whoever. IG Batscaler said, "No, I don't want to choose. You just do whatever. I'll play whoever I'm given." So cool. We all seen my one. I lost 2 battles, one to IG Batscaler and one to Riot, who dropped out league. So I got my choice, and I looked through the Minneapolis Magnemites. I looked through the Heart Home City Heat Trans. I looked through the Eager Empoleons, and I looked through the Pittsburgh Piplups. And I thought, these are all good teams. I'm gonna pull up the rosters here. So, once it pulls up, laptop's very slow. But I looked through their teams, and when we look at, so when we look at Minneapolis Magnemites, played them before, 6-0'd them. Really good matchup into their team I have. Eager Empoleons, I looked at them and went, Booster Energy Acrobatics Roaring Moon. What do I do to that without Dragapult? And then Enam is pretty good, but Booster Energy Acrobatics still hits very hard, and Roaring Moon gets Iron Head for Enam. So, oof. And then, I think I have a favourable matchup, but it's still rough. So then when we look at where is the Pittsburgh Piplups, pretty good matchup, but I don't know. They just have a scary offensive threats with the Mawad, Palafin, Gouging Fire. They've Corviknight, defensive monster, Comfey to just Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Aromatherapy, just be annoying. Rhyperior Earthquake, I've one Mon to resist it. That My ground, I'm pretty weak to ground, especially ground rock, because then Enam doesn't become, these two don't become switch-ins. So, what I thought was, okay, Appleton would be my only thing, but that loses to Megahorn. And if I Terra, I don't have my ground resist. So Rhyperior is scary. Cress is bulky monster. This is Galarian Corsola, not Cursula. They couldn't find a sprite for Galarian Corsola, so they just went with Cursula. Zarude, base 105, I believe, speed. Outspeeds anything other than Pyroar, Talonflame, Dragon Bolt. Like, it's just scary. And then when I scroll down to... oh no, scroll up. Where's the Heart Home City Heatrons? I can't remember where these are on this. There. When I was thinking... Jampo just destroys me. Like, it does 45, I believe, with an Icicle Crash into Quaquaval, and that's my best switch in for it. So because yes, Ferrothorn can take Icicle Crash and Ting neutrally and Crunch neutrally, but Sacred Sword. Champo's scary. And Lando, it's a ground type with rock coverage, so there we go, back to Appleton. Then, like, but other than those two, like, I'm not afraid of Zard. I have two great unaware checks to it. So I just went with the safe option. We've played before. It was very dominant in my favor against the Minneapolis Magnemites. So that was the first choice. What's that? So then, third place would have been Riot, but because of the drop, Cinderace, captain of St. Paul Spirit Breakers. We'll look at his matchups and how he went. So he went week 1 2-0 against Toronto Tyranids, and then he went 1-0. So he had two very close games when we look at it. Then in week 3, he goes 3-0 against Pittsburgh Piplups. Still nothing dominating. Then he loses 3-0. And then in week 5, he goes 4-0. So good, like, bounce back from going, 3-0 loss. Then he wins 3-0 against the Lapras Lunatics. Week 7, we played. I beat him 3-0. And then he bounced back with, well, it was a forfeit win to Mr. Rogers, the captain of the Heart Home City Heatrons. So when we look at him, he decided, well, he had the choice of the Heart Home City Heatrons, the Eager Empoleons, or the Pittsburgh Piplups. And we've seen his team before. He has scary offensive threats. And he decided to run back and actually have a game against the Heart Home City Heatrons that doesn't end in a forfeit win. So that will be, honestly, one of the more exciting games to watch, I think, out of the first round playoffs, because these two were like good, like strong teams. Like Jianpao just destroys his team for the most part, but then what's his Shifu check outside of Feeny? Like, once Feeny goes down, Urshifu just wrecks it. So, like, they both destroy each other offensively, and that's what I find interesting. And I can't wait to see how they both take on each other's main offensive check and what their plan is to take them on. So that's going to be really interesting. So back to the standings we go, and we see August, captain of Flying Fluttermains. He had third pick because they didn't want to pick, so he came fourth in playoffs. So we go back. Let's have a look at how he matched up to come into fourth overall. Starts off 4-0 to the Heart Home City Heatrons. So rough start, losing 4-0, but then he gets a 2-0 win against the Amsterdam Annihilates. Oh wait, no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong team. He gets a 3-0 win against the Toronto Tyranids. Very nice. Then he gets a 2-0 win against the Amsterdam Annihilates. Close, but he's still winning. Then in the closest game of the season, Eager Empoleons versus Flying Fluttermanes ends 0-0 because of Rocky Helmet. And the Eager Empoleons did win in that 0-0 exchange. Then when we go back to here, we see they just scraped out a win against the main Mankeys at 1-0. And just about scraped out a win at 2-0 against the Pittsburgh Piplups. And then 3-0 against the Las Vegas Lux Rays in a pretty balanced game. 3-0 isn't a great win, but it's not a great loss. So, and then in their last game, 2-0 win against the Quartz Hill Totaras. And they looked true. And they had the choice between Eager Empoleons and Pittsburgh Piplups. Two teams they lost against. No, sorry. One team they lost against, one team that was a really close battle. So, they went with the Pittsburgh Piplups. So we get to see, let me look at the polo up, Flying Fluttermanes against Pittsburgh Piplups right here. Landers, Urshifu, Aegislash, Toxapex, Terra Sylveon, Deoxys, Mega Sceptile, Terra Hisuian Avalugg, Smeargle, and then Cosmome and Cosmog. Will they come? I actually hope so, because it would be funny, but since it's playoffs, I doubt it. Against Gouging Fire, Palafin, Mega Mawile, Corviknight, Comfey, Rhyperior, both of them can Terra, Cresselia, Galarian Corsola, Zarude, and Hisuian Sliggoo, who can Terra. So it's going to be an interesting game, especially with them going 2-0, very close. Like, it was a very, very close game, and it could have went either way. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes this time. But for anyone paying attention, that means we get to see Eager Empoleons versus the Kid Academy Murderers for the last game. Well, technically game 1, but yes, we get to see those two for the last game of playoffs that we haven't talked about, since they're the last two remaining teams. And how do we think this will go? We have Roaring Moon to take on, like, when you look at this, it's very scary team. Like, Tapu Koko, insane speed, gives a Quark Drive boost to Iron Bundle, gives electric damage boost to Terra Pikachu and to Stunfisk. It can proc like electric seeds. It's just, then Mega Lopunny, just close combat, Facade, U-turn, Sword Stance, Triple Axle. It's just crazy. But that's not counting out Pheromosa, who outspeeds everything, and Heatran, which is a defensive wall. It's going to be another really interesting game, and I can't wait to see it. But then, so after we see that, so we'll go back to the standings. I'm going to just for now. So the winner between the Kid Academy Murderers here and the Eager Empoleons will face the winner of the Flying Fluttermanes and the Pittsburgh Piplups. And that means the winner between me, the Celtic Cannons, and the Minneapolis Magnemites will play the winner of the St. Paul Spirit Breakers and the Heart Home City Heatrans. And then, obviously, the winner of both of them games meet in finals. So we could see, so if Cinderace beats Mr. Rogers, we get a rematch of the Celtic Cannons versus the St. Paul Spirit Breakers. And if he loses, we get a unique match against the Heart Home City Heatrans. And it means in finals, I could get my rematch against the Kid Academy Murderers. Or, that's assuming I reach finals now, which obviously is the plan. I could get my rematch, which I want. Or, I could get a unique matchup against the Flying Fluttermanes, the Eager Empoleons, or the Pittsburgh Piplups. And then for the teams that didn't quite make finals, so we're looking from the main Mankeys down to Toronto Torrentars. Toronto Torrentars are out. They dropped out after going 0-5. So the last 3 weeks there was no captain, so unfortunately that ended in a forfeit win. So we're looking from main Mankeys down to the Las Vegas Lux Rays. we decided to give them a redemption bracket just for fun, keep them interested while they're watching, and just for a bit of fun, give them something to play for. So they're going to have their own little bracket, but unfortunately the top 2 teams have to get a free bye for round 1 because of the 2 drops we had. There's only 6 teams, so the top 2 teams, the main Mankeys and the Lapras Lunatics, both get a free pass, and that means the Quartz Hill Torterras, the Tahara City Dracos, they're the top 2, and it meant Quartz Hill Torterras got the choice between the Amsterdam Annihilates and the Las Vegas Lux Rays for their battle, and they chose to face the Las Vegas Lux Rays. So which means we get the Tahara City Dracos against the Amsterdam Annihilates. And what I believe is going to happen will be the main Mankeys will face the winner between... I actually don't know how it's going to go. I'd say main Mankeys versus Quartz Hill Torterras, is it? I don't know what the plan is because we don't have a proper one. But I'd say that what will happen will be main Mankeys versus between the Tahara City Dracos and Amsterdam Annihilates, and then Lapras Lunatics will play Quartz Hill Torterras versus Las Vegas Lux Rays would be my guess. We don't actually have a proper plan for that since it was a very last minute decision. But let's have a look at the matchups for them, because we've seen some of the teams, we haven't seen some. And there have been changes. Main Mankeys we played, so we've seen that threatening trio of the Sneasler, Great Tusk, and Meowscarada. We won't get to see them play until semi-finals of their bracket. And then if we go to the Quartz Hill Torterras, that's it. Like the first 3 there, they're disgustingly good. Like, God, just a very threatening team here with some good bulk from Quillfish. Then these 2 Kintara, so gives good bulk. Crazy versatile piece in Mew. It's just scary. And then like the Tahara City Dracos as one of the scariest teams in the league, if you ask me. Like Spectrier outspeeds everything, kills everything, gets a special attack boost on kill. Skarmory doesn't die. Rotom, he can be bulky, it can be offensive, it can spread paralysis, it can spread toxic, Will-O-Wisp. It's just a monster. Suicune does not die. Mimikyu just... it's a Ghost Fairy and it gets a free move. No matter what, it gets an attack off or a send off. Drapion has one weakness, which is covered by Craggnol's Levity, or Swadloon, which takes negative damage from an Earthquake Whip being 4 times resisted. Eleki does not need speed investment, so you can just make it bulky despite it having no bulk, and give it max special attack. And Slaking is just a nuke monkey. Like, what does this sloth not do? It just clicks Giga Impact, Terra Normal, and kills. And Iron Boulder as pick 12 is crazy point management. Like, oh my god. Like, it's just... the losers bracket is going to be fun. So when we look at... who did I skip over? I skipped over the Lapras Lunatics, didn't I? Let me look back at them. Like, because I haven't matched into them, so I actually haven't had a proper look at them. So, Spectral Teeth is banned on Marshadow, so its best move for the Ghost typing would be Poltergeist. But also gets the Technician boost on Shadow Sneak, giving it a bit more damage, going from 40 to 60 base power, plus Stab, like that's another 20, so that's 80 base power. And Cure can be physical, it can be special, Booster Energy, Assault Vest, Leftovers, whatever Treads wants. Magic Bounce is one of the best abilities in the game. Venusaur is a really good option, really underrated in my opinion. It gets Sludge Bomb, Leech Seed. I don't think it gets Sludge Wave, but it gets like Giga Drain. It has Chlorophyll if you want to go for a crazy like Sunny Day Illumise to boost Iron Moth and Weather Ball and Solar Beam, Chlorophyll. Like, it's just this is a crazy thing. Gradient is a steal at 3 points. I was looking at it, but didn't realize it was already taken. We've seen the Las Vegas Lux race in one of my games, and this combo called Dengo, Glyce, Score, Hisui, and Samurai. That's just Gen 9 OU. Like, that's just, you put up your spikes, you spin block with Goldengo, shift them down. Like, I've hyped up their team before, so I don't want to go into too much depth. If you want to see a proper hyping and recap of their team, go back to the battle against the Las Vegas Lux race. Crazy good battle. I think that's my week 3 or 4. Toronto Turntiles get gone. The main Mankeys I went over already, actually. I'm missing one, haven't I? Who am I missing? That person takes. Amsterdam Annihilates played already, so. But like, how do we give a team more? Like, that's another just crazy trio. 4 here are crazy good. Like, oh, I don't know how I managed to pull off a win against them. Like, when I look at that team, it's just insane. But yeah, that's basically it for the playoffs recap. Just wanted to do that for a bit of fun, give people something to look forward to, and I'll see you later on this week for my battle to see if I can make it into semi-finals after I hopefully beat the Minneapolis Magnemites, where I'll meet either the St. Paul Spirit Breakers or the Heart Home City Heatrons in semi-finals. I'll see you all there. Goodbye.